George Montgomery. And right here, the head of Ford Racing, Dick Brannon. How about that? And our other honored guest, here's Charlie Morris, who writes all the great books for us. Right over here, this is the man of 422. He is the man. This is Rich Lamont himself. He is the guy. And Dick Bishop, who's been one of the best at helping us organize all of our shows. Dick Bishop, right with us too. Gentlemen, boys and girls, it don't get any better than this. We got the cream of the crop. Here they are. Give them a nice hand. I mean, that is something. And along with me, where's Danny Parsons? Where is he? Get over here. Get up here. Hey, you, up here. Up here. Okay, the guys who, and I got to tell you what happened. Dan, where's your dress uniform? Good.
Not the club anymore. Didn't wear your coat.
Okay, I got to tell you how this all happened. Doug Bender and Jody, they got help. Jody has a Fairlane that he races. Doug has a Fairlane he shows. He's the president of the Fairlane Club. They got a hold of me. It was 5 years ago, and they said, you know, we'd like to have. Could we possibly have a day just for FE? Not a day just for him, but we want to come up on a test and tune, and we'd run all FE Fords. Well, they're talking to the right guy because I own an FE Ford. All right, these guys built the motor, so I know it's good. All right, so we got that. Here's what happened. I said, well, we can do it on a Saturday. I'll let you in, and it'll be a test and tune. And how many cars do you think you get? And they said, oh, maybe 30, maybe 35 or so. We went to Cecil before, but they didn't. I said, I welcome you to come. And then we started to talk. And we ended up meeting at the PRI show, and I said, you know what? I know we can make this work. We got something that can work. How about if I give you a day? They said, yeah. First guy we walked into right here. This is the man. This is Barry Robotnik of Survival Motorsport. Barry was the first one to step up to help us, and he's still been the leader of it all. We have more builders here now than we've ever had. Blair Patrick's here with his stuff. I mean, we have, and I'm not going to start mentioning everybody because I know I'll forget stuff. But take it from me, you got the best in the business are here. They said, I think we can do it. So I came and I said, you know what? How about if we have a day? And the very first one was on 4/27. 4/27, the first one.
Nice weather.
Yep. Yeah, it was nice. And we pulled it off, and it was on 4/27. Now that was a special day for me, because in 4/27 of '67, I had ordered a brand new 427 Comet. It came in on that day, 4/27/67. And you know what? 35 years later, I bought a lawnmower that cost $8,900 with 27 horsepower, and my Comet cost $4,000. Which one do you think I'd like the best? Okay, but anyway, they came and they said, let's see what we can do. Well, the first one was a success beyond belief, but I knew enough to have shirts right away, didn't I?
Yep.
All we had was black shirts and white shirts, right?
Right.
That's what we had.
Yep.
And then we turned it around, and I mean to tell you, it just turned into one of the best events. Yep. This is my favorite event, period. Now, just give it a minute. Ohio George, you're famous for running gassers, and tell me who you just wanted to go and beat the shit out of all the time. All them Hemi cars, right?
That's right. Yeah. I thought you were trying to pick out any particular one. No, I had my whole career beating them damn Chrysler's.
I'll tell you what, and George, you started out running. What engine did you think the first engine he had in his Willys? How about a Cadillac? Right? Cadillacs.
Mm-hmm. Because it was a good engine at the time for what I was doing.
Right.
And the rule change come along and they made a better vehicle, a smaller engine, and I put a Chevy in. And you know what? I stayed that Chevy a year too long, then I got a Ford.
There you go.
Yeah, right. He got those cameras and away he went.
That was I lost the national. I thought I owned that place. And at 65, I lost. I was devastated. Didn't lose any more after that either. Thank you, George.
Okay, and Sam, you ran.
Yeah.
Tell them what all you did. So
Well, we started out with the AFX Comets 64, 65. Then actually got Tasca's original car, which was a 65 Mustang. We had that car for a year on loan from Bondi Long, and then we went to built a 69. It was pre-Pro Stock. It was an Ultra Stock, and that was really the beginning of Pro Stock, so to speak. And that car was very successful. We won that Cars Magazine meet, and that was with Jenkins and Sox and
all those guys that never
every
could
one
run,
of those
right?
guys. Yes, yeah, right, yeah. And of course, Bill Jenkins, we were friends and also competitors all the time, because everybody wanted us to match race Jenkins. So, which didn't always turn out great, but anyway, that 60, and then we went to 70 Mavericks. We had 270 Pro Stock Mavericks, one with camera, one with a tunnel port, and the other cars were 71 Mustangs. Switched back to that. Those were all camera cars then, and then we went to the Pro Stock Don Hardy cars, and from there on, that was it.
Yeah, go ahead, George. What do you want to say?
You know, something new I had to have with me. Just last Wednesday, I got my new book I've been working on for a year and a half. So some of you guys, you want to come over to see me, I got a new book that tells my career, and it's a pretty neat book.
I'll tell you what, you definitely got to go. I mean, hear the guy. Like I said, and I make no bones about it, when you are here, you're at the drags, okay? I don't want any of you. Here's the way. You leave the track, you should be sunburnt, can't be able to hear, and I don't want anyone to go home with money in their pocket. You go here and you buy the stuff. You're not going to impress anybody saying, hey, look, I came home from the drags, I seen George Montgomery, but I still got $100. Nobody gives a damn. Okay, here you got Batman himself. This is Al Joniak.
I want to say, since this is a FE event, I want to take special attention that I'm very proud to be here, because 58 years ago, when the first FE engine was introduced in 1958, I won the very first Winter National event down in Spruce Creek, Florida, with a 58 Ford 300 horsepower car that nobody never talks about. I drew blood to I'm the first guy. I don't care what anybody says. I got proof. I'm a 58-year-old experienced guy with a FEs, is what I'm trying to tell you. And involved to the bad car and all the other shit that I did, but I started out with the FEs at the ground floor. I had a rich kid that didn't know shit from Shinola, and he says, his father says, I give you $100 you win the trophy. $100 in '58 was like $1,000 today. Yeah. I would have killed for that. I says, I'm your guy. Send me in. I took the day off. I ran out. I won the trophy locally, and then he says, we're gonna send you to the thing down in Florida. I says, absolutely. I'm 19 years old. I don't know shit from shit. I've never been out of Philadelphia. I'm driving down with a brand new car, going down to Florida with this kid who's 15 years old because he wasn't old enough to have a license. His father was rich, and he wanted to have him get a car. And we wound up winning the goddamn event down in Florida. And it's funny as shit because we had a 411 rear when we raced normally. We went to this flea-bitten, drag-ass, dirty shit track down in Spruce Creek. It was an old, abandoned Florida drag strip, landing strip. with spotlights going down the track. That was it. And then when everybody left, it was back to alligators and mosquitoes. That's all it was. So, because it was so slippery, so ugly, I had a 291 rear in the car to drive down there because I don't want to drive with a 411. Well, shit, we took the 411 out, put the 291 rear in it, and because we couldn't spin the tires with the first gear, we were going 70 miles an hour in first gear. Finished the race in second gear, but we were half tracking them out of the hole and beat the shit out of everybody. We went through the eyes in second gear. I laughed my ass off because it was all an accident, but it worked out great.
Do you think the guy had a good time? And of course, you know, one of Al's big claims to fame is he won the Winter National the first year with the Cobra Jet.
Yeah, absolutely.
And tell us how you, now he told me the story quick this morning. How did you come up with the name for the Bat car? Because the name on your car before was Pegasus.
Well, I got,
like everybody had.
When I got my 65 lightweight car, it was white, and you know, everybody was, you know, looking for names and so forth, and I just thought the Flying Horse, the Pegasus was a great name. Then when I went out into the real world, there was 500 Pegasus out there. I said everybody was Pegasus. I thought, holy shit, that wasn't very original. We're sitting in the bar eating a hamburger, and here comes the Batman Series 1, and there comes the Bat car with the trick paint job on it. That's it! I'm going with the Bat car! That was it! So we had to switch over to get a new deal. And that was the most successful car, most reliable car, winning car I ever had. I loved it, and it was my favorite car. Yeah.
So there you go. All right, next hand for Al.
There's one thing that Al, you want to tell about. I went with him the first year of Pro Stocks to the U.S. Nationals. And he needed a motor. So I don't know nothing about a motor at that time or anything. All I know is in the front of the car.
Don't be saying you don't now. I know you were thinking.
And if he asked Ford, and Ford said, yeah, we got one in the back of the parts room. It's low compression and everything. Al's working on it. He's got a ball peen hammer. And he's running a leak down, and he's hitting on the valve going, heel, heel, heel. And I'm saying to myself, well, that's the way they fix these. But he finished, he got down to the final 4 cars. He was the highest finishing Ford in the first U.S. Nationals with 32 cars.
Yepper, all right. Now, Jim next is, Jim is here. Where's your friend that brought you?
Charlie Morris.
Pardon?
Charlie Morris.
Okay. And Jim asked, where's Charlie? Tell us, what do you do here? Where are you? Okay. Anyway, he had made certain that he had came, and we got him here out of Missouri just to be here. He's so happy to be part of it, right?
Yeah, I ran a car in New Jersey, East Coast mostly, called the Jersey Rattler.
Jersey Rattler. I remember the car.
Yeah, that was a pretty good FB at the time. It was an old AFX Mustang, and we just run the death out of the thing, ran every time we could. Run nice races, and again did pretty good against a couple of Chrysler cars, which was unheard of at that time. So had a good time. Spent a lot of money, I'm sure.
Well, that's what that Ford stands for, right? Friggin' expensive.
We don't care.
Yeah, we don't. All right, Randy, go ahead. Tell us quickly what Randy's claims to fame is. He is the premier restorationist of Ford cars of the nation.
Well, I've had a very fortunate career working on these old special cars, as I like to think of them, and I started out in business along with Super Ford magazine when it was Super Ford Parts Exchange. We were only a few miles apart, and John Paradise, who was the editor, gave me the opportunity to restore my first Thunderbolt, and he featured it in the magazine. Plus I did some other projects for him in the magazine, and I says, hey, you know, this is pretty cool. So I quit my day job, and I says, you know, my house payment at the time was $108.76 a month, and I says, I have no idea where I'm going to get that money, but I'm going to do it. And I quit my job, and I just started working, and but I set my standards high. I says, I'm not going to work on average cars doing brakes and exhaust and stuff. And I started going to flea markets and car shows and promoting myself, and soon another Thunderbolt come along, and all of a sudden I restored more Thunderbolts than probably anybody in this country. And that led to like the lightweight Cobra Jet Mustangs, AFX Comets, AFX Mustangs, which I've had the honor to restore the Bat car that was Al's.
Wow.
And plus the Cobra Jet Mustang that he
The
won.
real
Winter
Cobra
National.
Jet.
Absolutely,
The
And,
one that gave sperm for all the rest, right?
So I've had a very rewarding career, and I've told everybody, everybody says, well, I mean, you've done a lot of things, says, but I never went to work a day in my life. I had so much fun at what I was doing. I went to play every day, and it was rewarding. I couldn't wait to get up and go to work, and it's just been a lot of fun. So I've been a very fortunate person.
All right, Randy he's one of our judges up here at the show for us too. Came the whole way down from way up New York. He likes to call it Southern Canada, right?
Well, we're through the snow up there this year.
Yeah, okay. All right, and here is Rich Lamont. Rich, tell us a little bit about how you did it and what you're doing and how we are. All of us older guys. I am now a member of the club. I'm 70, so right. I'm up here. Now, I'm on the other side. No, I'm on the other side now. And how do we keep? My wife says to me, because I was married about 6 or 7 years ago, and she said, when we go to the banquets, and she said, all you older guys are still like kids. That's all you do. You talk cars. Like I said, when I'm going to my buddy's garage, it isn't like, well, is there any women there? We wouldn't notice them. Holy crap. We like Fords, So anyway, she said, it is so great. You go to Rich and Dick's banquet they have, and all it is all of us guys just having fun. So just tell us a little quick as to what you did there, Rich.
Well, like everybody, I started racing on the street with a 60 Starline. And I went in, after that, I went into Norristown Ford. We got a 63 Lightweight, I got a 64 Thunderbolt. Then we got into Mustangs, and through the years I took some time off, and then I got back into it to do some nostalgia racing. We ran for NMCA and a couple of other organizations. We won the championship one year with NMCA. And I started 422 All-Stars. My right-hand man here, he's with me. We won, and they're all cars, not just Fords, Chevys, Voltas, whatever it is. But we won that championship 3 times, and we're still doing it, as a matter of fact.
And the thing I got...
Middle of May is our first race for this year.
And the thing I got to give them credit for, they have, without a doubt, the finest nostalgia super stock series. They come to our track. They support our track on 2 major races. And I'll tell you what, you come to our York race, we have shootouts. We have a Hemi shootout. We have a 409 shootout. And then there's all the Fords and everybody the next day. We have over 60 nostalgia super stocks that day. And I always like to tell other tracks when they say, well, we're going to have a nostalgia race, and well, an 85 car's nostalgia. I said, what? It's what? I said, so an 85 Olds Cutlass is now a nostalgia car. Your damn brain dead. Okay? He says, well, it's this many. I said, I can't argue with your math. I said, nostalgia racing is stock and super stock. That's what it is. It's not funny cars, it's stock and super stock. And they've supported us forever, and it's really great. And now, the man who's Ford himself, this is Dick Brannon. He was the head of Ford, started Ford Racing, and there he is. Dick,
Yeah.
tell him the story about how Dick ran was...
Don't lie.
Oh, tell any damn story you want. Dick was the one. He ended up Ronnie Hames Ford in South Bend, Indiana, and in '62 there's not a Ford that would win a race. And tell them what you did when you went up to Detroit Dragway. Tell them how that worked out.
Well, my guys at South Bend wanted me to go that race in Detroit. I don't want to go because I didn't know any of those guys. I heard the names Strickler and Grumpy Jenkins and stuff. And Jerry Roman Hammonds' son, asked me, he said, "Aren't you going to take the car to Detroit?" I said, "No, I don't think so because not feeling good." Anyway.
Dick, you want to stand up here so they can hear you a little better?
Louder. Speak loud.
Yeah.
Stand on something.
Can't hear you in the back.
Be like Bob.
Yeah, be like Bob.
Yeah, I tell you what, you can hear him. Anyway, the Hammonds family wanted me to take the car to Detroit. I didn't really want to go because I was winning around where I lived and pretty happy with that. But anyhow, I went because they said they'd pay the gas. And while there was 61 cars in that event, by the way, that night. Super Pontiac, Chevrolet, Dodge, and everything. And I won that race. So
with a 62 406 tri-power car,
yeah,
right?
we didn't go lightweight cars.
Yeah.
Well, when I came down the road, return road, they impounded my car, took it to Texas. Gil Cohen came over and said, "You got to tear you down and look at your car. And is that car legal?" I said, "Yeah, it is legal." He said, "Well, we've never had a Ford win a race here like this. If that car's legal and you're going to tear it down, I'm going to pay you twice what you won tonight." I think it's about $200. But anyhow, I agreed for the teardown. Grumpy was right there, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody asked me what he looked like. I said, I don't know. I saw his feet. Anyway, when about, I'm almost at 1:30 a.m., they declared my car legal. And all the Ford guys are still there. You know, they're still in the stands everywhere. They declared the car was legal. And that's how it kind of got started. I had been going to an engineering school earlier. Ford called me, wanted me to go and interview with them. I was reluctant. Mr. Hammonds told me, "Man, don't go up there and tell them everything because they'll find out everything you know and put it with everything they know. That's on the end of it." Which I found out was true. But nonetheless, I made several trips because it was only about 170 miles, I think, from South Bend to Dearborn, and made several trips. Made a deal with them to come aboard as a contract employee at first, and I was really brought in to assemble a team of people to help because they wanted me to grab a hold and get the youth image market back to Ford because we had lost it to General Motors. I guess some of you guys remember that. In 55 when
we don't remember that.
Huh?
Never mind.
Anyhow, that was my job, and I assembled the team.
If anybody can hear me up there, we need somebody to go in the ladies' room.
Al Joniak will be there.
Is there a Ford in there?
Bruce Jenner's in there.
He's already been in Target.
Legal now, Al.
Yeah, it's legal now.
Wait till we turn.
That's legal. That's right.
Still dragging the track in the driving.
Anyway, over time, I became a regular employee there. Worked as a development engineer in the Ford division. We were in engineering building 3. They had building 1, 3, and 5. I worked in 3. We finally, a lot of times when I'd order something, wanted something done, the union was kind of in your way, and we had to skim around them to get it going. Because when you're racing, you're racing. You don't have time to wait 3 weeks to get something. And people in the company would many times say, "Who are you guys?" Intercompany phones, I'd talk to people, they said, "Never heard of them." So that would kind of delay you a little bit. They moved us over to the Ford Division headquarters on the 3rd floor, and from then, people like Al Joniak, I could get stuff to him because they said, "Who are you guys?" special vehicles over in, where are you located? Ford Division headquarters. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And made it easy. I could get him and George, my buddy here, taken care of, get their parts, get their stuff, get information to them while I was at Ford. But I also had some cars of my own. I think some of you are familiar with those cars, and you know, kind of didn't want me to win too much, but didn't want Ford to lose. So I was kind of in the middle there, kind of being squeezed a little. But I think some of you are familiar with some of it. There's a lot of books and stuff.
Now, Dick, the thing he did, his your 65 or 6 car, right? The one he had Bronco wrote on it, right?
65.
65. If you look, and Dick has a picture there, you want to go buy it from you. He has a picture, and the name is Bronco on the back. And tell him how it got the name Bronco.
While at Ford, I had 2 cars in 65 with single overhead cam engines in them. The Bronco car, the one he's talking about, had Bronco written on it. Now we had that car on a test track early on, and every time I'd run it, it just like this here.
Yeah.
And they said, man, that's like a dang Bronco. It's so hard. Can you handle it? You know, I don't know. You know, get it straightened out here. We did, but inside, and then I had it painted on there, Bronco. Well, the guys down in that experimental garage, which was an old aircraft hangar, was big, where they used to build Ford planes. You know,
B-24s.
No, they built the Ford tri-motor.
Oh, the tri-motor. Okay, yeah, right,
yeah,
right.
There. It's where our experimental garage was. We had the first 3 or 4 stalls when you went in on the left. But anyhow, on your way to the test track, you everybody in there kind of went past special R stuff. This guy comes up and he says, and this car was on the lift. He says, that name you got on that car, Bronco? Yeah. Can we use that? I said, who you got? He said, we put together a little 4-wheel. I said, that little 4-wheel that goes by here, 4-wheel drive? Yeah. We're going to come out with that next year. We need a name. I said, well, I don't own, we don't own the name. As far as I'm concerned, you can put it on there. And that's exactly when, I got pictures of it, back when, that's exactly the name they put on the Bronco the following year when it came out. But it was within Ford, both nobody outside was involved in it.
Well, Bruce Larson wouldn't let that happen.
Yeah.
Hey, look, right here with us, how about this? Bruce Larson himself comes up. Come on, Bruce, come on. Bruce Larson himself. How about it? Bruce, happy to have you here.
Good to be here.
Yeah, he ran for Hoffman Ford, and the name on the side of the car, Mr. Ford.
Yeah,
Mr. USA 1 was Mr. Ford. I never forget that. Don't worry, I won't ever forget.
I got to tell you a good story about Mr. Ford.
Okay.
You know, we could never beat his Ford. His was always a little quicker, like about a 1/10 of a second, for some reason.
Still got it in his head.
We got that car. It was a 406 car. And Earl Hoffman was a friend of Lee Iacocca, the vice president of Ford Motor Company.
Right.
Called him up and he says, can you help us? And Lee said, yeah, come on out, send the boys out. We took an Econoline van out there. And Lee said, go over to Dearborn Steel Tubing and see a guy named Sullivan. Sully. He ran the place. And he was there from back in the Flathead Ford days. And Sully said, come out here. And he took us out into the factory, and there was a slow-moving conveyor belt going out there, and it was all full of 2 4-barrel manifolds.
Oh my!
And they were putting linkage and fuel lines on them, and he says, "You guys are going to get the first one off this line." Now Dick probably had, you know, he had them before that, but he gave us what he called the first 2 4-barrel manifold off that assembly line when they got it finished that day. And he said, "Come out here in the warehouse." And they had a warehouse full of fiberglass stuff that just came in from Windsor, Ontario. And he says, back the truck up, and we got the doors, and we got the fenders, and we got the hood and the trunk, and all the fiberglass